Welcome, welcome viewers. This is the Treasures of Life show and my name is Jonas Simba. Karibu sana. Today we have a guest for you. My sign language interpreter is Wanjang Nyethe. Feel free to follow the show with us. Treasures of Life show is your home of energy. We have a guest to share some energy with you. Maureen Okal, karibu sana.
Asante sana.
How are you?
I am fine, Mr. Jonah.
Yeah, is it cold in Nairobi? Unasikia baridi nini?
It is. But okay. We love Nairobi.
Yes.
With the cold.
Okay.
So we thank God. All weather, we are okay.
Okay. Karibu sana. By the way, just in case you're asking yourself what we are talking about with Maureen Okal today, we are talking about child public participation. What a topic. Child public participation. By the way, Maureen, before we even begin, we've had series of demonstrations in the country. By the way, the last one happened during my birthday. 25th of June, that was my birthday.
Really? Happy birthday.
Oh, belated, yeah? Okay.
Yes.
What a way of celebrating it. There were serious demonstrations. The question begs, what is going through the minds of children that we have? By the way, just tell us, who are you? In this show, we normally ask people, who do you think you are? Who are you? Yes.
Let me start by saying that I'm a child of God.
Okay.
That is one thing that I really know I am, a child of God.
Okay.
But named Okal Maureen. Okal Maureen is a mother.
Right.
Okal Maureen is a wife. Mm-hmm. And Okal Maureen is also a director, Smile Natoto initiative.
Smile
Natoto.
Smile Natoto.
Yes,
is it
Smile Natoto?
Natoto, yes.
Smile Natoto.
Is it that Toto in Parliament?
Yeah, I remember the senator.
Yes.
Toto, the women rep.
Yes.
Yeah, those are Totos that we smiled with. Okay. So today, they're also smiling with other Totos. Yes.
Real Totos. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think basically that is who I am. Okay. A mother of 3 very handsome children.
Wow.
And I'm also a champion for child welfare. Okay. That is where we are getting the name Smile Natoto.
Okay.
Yes, and we also work with the youth very closely to do mentorship.
Okay.
And again, you see, you cannot smile Natoto without smiling with the parents.
Absolutely.
So that is where
and
now,
especially the woman.
Yes. So we know that the joy of a child begins from the joy of the mother. So we also do women empowerment.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Great. Back to the question. What do you think is going through the minds of the children with the happenings in the country right now? Would you give it a guess?
Being a mother,
right,
and also a woman that works with the children, I'm telling you, so much is going into the minds of the children.
Right.
And just to go straight into the matter, our children are stressed.
Okay.
They are not so sure about the environment they're living in, because today they're not certain. And you see, when you're living in an environment where there's a lot of uncertainty,
right,
I'm telling you, you can never be stable in your mind. So you've asked about what is happening in the minds of our children. I will answer you, there's a lot of instability.
Okay.
Because you see, it is our responsibility to make sure that our children are living in a safe environment.
Right.
But whatever is happening in Kenya is a very sure sign that that safety is not very... the assurance of the safety is not there.
Right.
You can imagine a child going to school, and while the baby is at school, because I remember just recently when we had the demonstrations in town.
Yes.
And as the demonstrations were there, the school is calling us, come pick your children because town is a no-go zone. So the child is stressed at school. Remember, the stress is you have spoken to the parent, come for your child.
Yeah.
The parent is stressed. But when you're also telling the child that be ready for your father or mother to come and pick you, they're also worried about the safety of that very parent reaching them. So it's not, the parent is worried and the child is worried more. You understand? And then you also get to a point where maybe these children have siblings. Some are these very Gen Zs. So you are at school or you are at home, your bigger sibling has gone to the demonstration sites.
Right.
You are not sure whether this brother or sister of yours is going to return. You remember the other day when there were the demonstrations, your birthday, let me make a reference to like that. Yes. And then our children know very well that when their siblings, the elder ones, go to demonstrate, their chances of coming back are never there.
Right.
So you are not sure, and this is a sibling that you cannot tell, being younger, you cannot tell this other sibling that don't go. But even if you say, this other sibling, the Gen Z, is so convicted that he has to go and join the rest to give out their grievances.
I noticed that children actually are very emotional. They share emotions, especially sibling to sibling. Have you ever tried to harm a child in the presence of their sister or their brother? It's like it touches on them. So I'm imagining their brother or their sister who has gone out, their Gen Z brother, coming back, having been beaten with the police. Traumatizing, is it?
Very true. Very traumatizing.
Right.
And do you know what this one does to the future? It makes the alpha, because the generations that we have now are the active generations, putting ourselves out as parents, are the Gen Zs and the alpha generation.
Did you just say alpha?
Yes.
And there are some that are being born this year. I'm told they are called beta. They are from 2025 all the way to 2039. That's beta generation, right?
Fine.
But
all
alpha
those generations.
Goes up to 2024. Alpha. I think alpha comes all the way to end of last year.
End of last year. Yes. So you can imagine that all these groups of people, the betas, as they'll be growing up, they'll get the same history, because history you can never erase. Right. So they'll get the same history. They'll also have their own. It shall have also impacted them in their own special ways that maybe they'll come to narrate. Just the same way we are narrating the things that happened in Kenya. We're told of our people like Tom Mboya, Robert Ouko.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes,
so that history still lives with us. The same way whatever is happening today will also live with the better generations. But what you must understand is that the alpha generation is already seeing, they are experiencing. So when you affect any of them, you are putting these things in their hearts. And in short, what I would tell you is you are raising a generation that is sad, a generation that is grieved, a generation that is wounded. So you may assume as a leader, but the truth is this generation is wounded. And if you want to know that I'm telling you the truth, to date, if you are told about the colonial masters in Kenya, every Kenyan will feel bad that how could it be that the Wazungus came to Kenya and this is the kind of torture they subjected our forefathers to. So the same thing is getting repeated, because at some point our children will start asking, how come that the very people, our fathers who were supposed to protect us, are the ones that were destroying us? Because the destruction of the Gen Zs today, the destruction of the alphas today, these little children, is because of the fathers that we have as leaders in this nation. So I'm telling you that when you interfere with a sibling, you are planting seeds of bitterness in the very siblings.
Whoa. I met a group of children playing, and it was like a game. And they were playing a game of maandamano. they were like, no, this is no maandamano, no. Is that a coping mechanism or what's happening? Because now the children have also taken it up as a game.
Mr. Jonah, the Bible says that train up a child in the way that he should go,
Right.
and when he grows up, he does what? Depart from it. So these are the things that we have exposed them to. These are the things that they are seeing. So today, you will see them play. But as they play, it is not just that they're playing. Today, it will come out as a play. But the thing is, these things are getting planted into them. So they know that this is the way, because that is what we have presented to them. You understand?
Okay.
So, and again, as that is happening, we are showing them that this is how you're supposed to speak out your issues.
Okay.
If you cannot listen to me, let me do maandamano. Are you getting where it is coming from? So in one way or the other, we are teaching our children that maandamano is always the way to go, because dialogue does not find room in the society, in the Kenyan society. Because I always say that some of the things that happen,
Right.
that our children are coping or that are happening to our children are things that can be done. They are things that can be talked about and you listen. But it is very unfortunate, very, very, very annoying that because you are a leader, you have set yourself there.
Right.
You never want to hear what other people are saying. There's a lot of outcry that you're not giving attention to. So when that attention is not given to the people that are seeking the attention, what other option are you left with? You go out. Of course, the Constitution allows. But we are not supposed to get there.
Right.
It is if we can talk. And I don't know, our leaders should know that when people talk, that is a very best chance for them to work. Because as a leader, you may not be knowing all things. Sometimes the things that you're supposed to reinforce, the things you're supposed to make right, you can only get to know about them from the people themselves. You understand?
Right.
So it is always just advisable that as a leader, listen to what the people are saying.
I'm just also looking at another side of all this.
Yes.
Whenever I turn on my TV and the news comes on, and I listen to the language diet of the leaderships, is this sinking in the children? Are they really taking it in? Are they taking this seriously? Because you turn from one leader to the other, the kind of language diet that you get, I mean, it's shocking. Is this really sinking in our children? Are we going to see a situation where it's like monkey see, monkey do? Are we going to have our children, copy this? Or do they have the ability to wash this away when they go to school, to church, to mosques, depending on the religion and, whichever school they are going to? Is this sinking? How serious is the language diet of the leaders? How serious is that?
I would describe it like this: very arrogant, very careless. And you see, when I talk of carelessness, I mean you cannot be a leader and you're not mindful of what you speak to the people. A leader is not supposed to come to people and show his might, because have nothing to do with your might. Somebody said that people do not really care what you know, but they really care about how you made them feel. So by you speaking as a leader in an arrogant manner, it means that you have made me feel a certain way. The ways could be different, because if you're a leader that I love, then it doesn't matter what you say, I will support it. But to another person, remember, it is an injury to the soul. So what our leaders are doing is not in any way right. And this is what our children will also take up. So that's why perennially you'll find that we have leaders Of course, leaders come and go. But our children are copying so much a lot from them. So that when they become leaders, we are afraid they also end up being very arrogant leaders, careless leaders. Leaders, sometimes I even wonder, who are you leading? Because I thought that if you are a leader, you are supposed to be a better one. Allow me to say this.
Right.
We had a leader like Jesus Christ. Anytime he appeared before the people, he would leave people with hearts that are happy, hearts that are at peace, hearts that are transformed, not hearts that when you have spoken, then you give rise to many ugly hearts. I had told you, when you say, like, allow me to also say, the CS for Interior, coming out and saying that you cannot disturb the police because when you do that, then just be sure of being killed.
Okay.
You know, such statements are very provocative. And that is why you realize that the Gen Zs were coming out and saying, we are facing it because you have provoked them. Again, the Bible also says that do not provoke your children.
To anger.
Yes,
Okay.
parents are warned, don't provoke them.
How about this?
Yes.
When we were watching the Mandamanos,
Yes.
many of us, I think there was a temporary shutdown of YouTube.
Yes,
Did you
there
experience
was.
that?
Yes.
But TikTok was on. And we could scroll one clip after the other. And I think the Gen Zs had gone out to, become the journalists themselves. So we were watching different people on ground on their TikTok. Are you okay?
Yes, I am.
Okay. On their TikTok channels. And what is shocking is also from the youths themselves. Some of the words that they brought out. So, am I right to say that this comes from both sides? Okay, the leaders are arrogant, they have spoken. But when the Gen Zs also were on the streets, the words that they were bringing out, did you hear some of the words? Whom do you blame now?
I blame the leaders because
Right.
you have provoked the youth. I always say that we have a responsibility for the youth. We have a responsibility for our children. It is personal, and again, it is also collective. But when you have failed and you want to silence people and use words that provoke them, as a human being, what other option are you left with? My friend, you will have to also show this person that it is not the way you are thinking, because Kenya is for all of us. You can't silence me so that you can have your way. Yet, I also have my way, which is not just mine, it is the way of the whole community, the whole nation.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
So that is why, even if you read the Constitution, it will say that the people have the power. It is a people's power. It is not your power. So you come out as an individual, misusing your office. I will say that you're misusing your office.
Right.
It was so sad getting the youth. One of the very things that came out that I would want to pick out of the many things that the Gen Z spoke was that we have said bye. Yani, wamefika mahali, allow me to use that,
Yes.
to a point where they can even tell you that we are coming out, even if it means we are going to meet the bullets. Just shoot us, but we are out.
That's what you remember.
Yes. And they
There's
were
one I
bidding the
remember.
nation bye-bye. That was serious.
I remember one.
Yes.
That is a suicidal statement. But I remember the other one. Fagia wote. It's like, let all these leaders go.
Yes.
I had something like that. Fagia wote. Fagia wote. You know, it's like the youth have reached a point where they're saying, no, let all these people go. And I'm looking at the language diet. I'm looking at all that. Let me ask you a question, Maureen. Is it really possible to do civic education on a child? When is it right? Can a child now really understand that what you're seeing out there is because someone is not obeying the Constitution? How do you explain the Constitution to a child? I mean, kindly explain. How do you do that?
We have curriculum designs in Kenya.
Yeah, by the way,
From
of course,
KICD.
later we will talk about coping mechanisms for the children, but right now I just want to understand this side. Yes.
Are you aware that in school our children are taught about their rights? They know.
By the way, during our time,
Yes.
I don't know whether we share times, but during our time, we used to sing only the national anthem. Was that the same with you?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, then we
did.
share times.
Yes.
Nowadays they even sing East African national anthem. Do you know it?
Yes.
Mungu, can you try sing it? Mungu ibariki. Come on.
Yes.
Are you able to?
Oh, I'm trying to collect myself, but yes, I know the words very well.
I noticed not. No, let's start it. Mungu ibariki ju, whatever.
Yes.
Come on. Many of the people of our generation don't know that East African anthem.
Yeah.
We used to sing only
The national anthem.
Yeah. I know the words.
Yes.
I hear the words, but just to put them together. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde.
Tuwajibike. Yes.
Tuimarike, umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. You know,
You are good.
we used not to sing these things.
No, that one came just recently when
Now,
we had the East Africa Community
Yes.
Agreement. Yes. So it didn't get us in school. We were already
so it's
out.
more of a Gen Z and Alpha.
And alpha thing, yes.
Okay. Now, take me back there. How then do you do that civic education?
I thank God for our schools in Kenya.
Right.
Many of these things, our children are taught by our good teachers, and they also learn amongst themselves.
Okay.
And that has helped a lot, because today's child, I wish the government could just do more. But today's child is a privileged child.
Okay.
Because of the schools, where I've told you that many of these very many things they learn at school.
You've
We
told
also
me
have,
they even understand their rights.
yeah, they do.
Okay.
Mtoto atakusimamisha kwambie, my mama, you are not even supposed to beat me.
Oh.
Mama, I have a right.
Many of the millennials and Gen X's and baby boomers would argue and say that is spoiling the child, because during our times we used to be caned properly.
Yes, but remember in schools even the capital offense was abolished. Beating a child.
Yeah.
Is a capital offense. It's
Definitely a baby boomer, Gen X, or a millennial would argue that that's a serious error. They would argue that we will soon have a discipline issue. Do you share the same view?
I do, because allow me to also use the Bible again as a reference.
Okay.
The Bible tells us that if you spare the rod, then you will spoil the child. So a child must be raised even with the rod. All these must go together. But I always say that the rod is not bad.
Okay.
But how is your mind? Because you see, the rod only becomes a problem when your mind is not in the right state, where you'll end up harming this child. Yeah, so you should do, but with a lot of restraint. The only difference is at school, it is not completely allowed. Of course, some teachers still do. But look at the...
they do kwa mlango wa nyuma or something.
Yes, but look at the results that sometimes we get. Mtoto ulienda pale, you have been beaten and also beaten to death.
Okay.
You get. So that's why I'm saying that using a rod, to me, is not wrong.
Okay.
But while you're using the rod, make sure that you're using your mind as well. Because if you use your heart, your emotions, then that is where things will just definitely go wrong. So you balance, but make sure that your mind is at work as well as you're also using the rod. I don't know if that is well understood.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, I know we're about to go for a break.
Yes.
But I'm just really wondering, you know, how you can balance bringing that civic education that this child should understand their rights while at the same time respecting the rights of others. Because what we are seeing right now during demonstrations, we are experiencing a lot of vandalism, yes, a lot of destruction of other people's property, you know. Then how do you really bring this, that while you are walking with your rights, you respect the rights of others? That civic education, you know. And this is just to explain the public participation. By the way, thanks to Sakaja, there is food. Yes? But the question begs, were these children consulted? You know, did somebody go around to ask them, mnataka kula nini? You know, that's public participation. I mean, what do you have to say about this?
May I answer two things?
Right.
When we are talking of public participation, and then I want to take the bracket of the Gen Zs.
Yes.
I would say that the Gen Zs have a say. They are coming out to demonstrate. But we have also gotten reports that as they're demonstrating,
yes,
they are very peaceful. No weapons, no nothing. Just coming out to air their views. And then there are other parallel plans where some people, of course they have been accused, we are not so sure, also bring in their people to do harm so that it is said that the other group did not do well. You understand those politics behind the demonstrations.
Okay.
So put that aside. In this case, the truth is, when our people are tired, they should be given room to come and talk. And remember, before they even get there to talk, they always give notice. There's always word in the air. Right. So I'm always thinking that it should be the responsibility of the leaders to find a way so that these people do not end up in the streets. And that's why I was talking of a show of might. Mnakuja, sisi pia tunatoka. So it is a tug of war, instead of just agreeing and saying, okay, is this what you want? We are willing to rectify it because we are the people seated on the throne, which they never do. So in a way, I would also say that ni kama hao pia huwa wanapenda demonstrations zikue, so that ionekane ni kama there is activity in Kenya. I don't know. But sometimes I look at it like that. I am seriously bringing out my view. You understand? Yes.
Yes, I get it.
So that is something that is really disturbing us, especially the mothers, because at the end of the day, they are injuring our children. Number one. Number two, now we talk of alerting children or involving children in the decisions that you make for them.
Right.
One, I want you to understand that this is a child. A child has to be guided. But a child must also be given space in issues concerning them to also show you that this is what I want, this is what I do not want. So like a Kenyan child today, I think would ask, why are you giving us maragwe and rice? Why not chips? You know, children with chips.
Yeah, and that's just in case they don't choose ice cream.
Yeah.
You know, the PP1 and PP2 would go for ice cream in the morning, lunch, and evening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so it is very good to involve children in matters concerning them, because one assumption that we have always made in life is that it is me speaking, it is me implementing. Yes. So you could be implementing, but you are implementing a wrong thing. You remember we had a case some time back of Langata Road Primary.
Yes, yes.
where a field was supposed to be taken away from them. I loved our children. They came out, they said no. And remember, this was by the assistance of the community there, because a child has a right to play. So when you take away the field, you're taking away my right to play.
Right.
Yes. So the community participated very well, worked with the children and made sure that the fields were restored so that they have a place to play. I remember I would gather a reference from South Africa. You remember the days of the Soweto uprising?
Yes.
It was the children that spoke. This very month, was it? Yes. We even did a memorial
Right.
of the African child. Where did it come from? It came from the fact that the child in South Africa spoke on behalf of the African children.
Right.
So the children have a right to be given room to express their feelings,
Right.
to say what they want, what can work for them and what cannot work for them. Let me tell you, so many children in this life are hurting. But the adults have assumed so much.
Right.
You want, like, I'm a mother in the house, I want to cook, then today I decide I'm cooking omena. My children did not ask me for omena, but remember, your generation and my generation, we would eat what is provided. We thank God for our fathers and our mothers who fought to make sure that there was food on the table.
Right.
Yes. The same you can do to a child, but by explaining, this is what I can afford. You can't say that okay, when we talk of food and nutrition in Kenya today, the fact that the government is working so hard to make sure that our children feed at school, where is it coming from? It is coming from the fact that our children a study had been done. We stand as witnesses that the Kenyan child would go without food.
Right.
No breakfast, no lunch, no nothing.
Yes.
So to just help this child as a vulnerable child,
Yes.
assume that all of them are coming from the same condition. Put food. But again, you go back to your pocket and you ask, what is this that can serve all of them? So that is where you get that we have a common meal according to the budget that we can raise.
We need to go for a break. We have a lot to talk about. Wow, wow. We are with Maureen Okal. What portfolio? What should I call you? Director Smile Atoto, right?
Smile Natoto.
Smile Natoto.
Yes.
Director.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We are with Maureen Okal. Smile Natoto. Interesting discussions here. We are going for a break. Give us your views on 0111 980 384. See you after the break.